What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell.
Because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family without further ado. Let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Athens, 1896. A memorable opening ceremony was obviously needed for the 1896 Athens Games, as this was the first Olympics of the modern era. The ceremony was positively quaint by today's extravagant standards, but there was a lot of meaning behind the event. It took place in Athens' Panathenaic Stadium, an all-marble stadium dating back to 330 BC. It was packed with 80,000 spectators, and most of the Olympics' 241 male athletes were lined up by nation. The games were opened by George I of Greece, and the now famous Olympic hymn was performed for the very first time. This hymn was subsequently made the official Olympic anthem in 1958. Can you imagine the excitement of being there in person, witnessing history being made? Number 19, Torino 2006. Italy's second Winter Games, Torino 2006 had over 2,600 athletes from 80 nations competing in 84 events. The opening ceremony began with a sensational celebration of Italian culture. A snowy show honored the Alps and the glory of winter. The massive Olympic rings were raised with the help of acrobats and fireworks, and the Renaissance was honored with a reference to Botticelli's The Birth of Venus. A Ferrari F2005 loudly revved its engine and did donuts. Most famous of all, though, the late Italian opera legend Luciano Pavarotti gave a stunning performance. Put simply, there was something for everyone in this ceremony. Number 18, Moscow.
Wait a minute. The thing that I love the most about the Olympics is the culture.
Yeah.
The culture, because you know, as Americans, we're always wondering what's this person's culture, this person, what's going on, right?
Right.
We need to have it in America.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. We're gonna have it, but
I'm waiting to see how the creativity, sparks.
Yeah.
Because with times things start to just get bigger and they get involved and they dig into history and they try to create it to be more something that we probably won't even understand until we get involved in it ourselves.
Like the symbolism and everything, right?
Yeah.
What will we share?
Exactly.
Man, I say that too proudly.
No, I'm just saying.
We need to have it here. What will we share?
Where would they put it?
We have so much diversity and anyway.
1980. The 1980 Moscow Olympics were the first summer games to be held in a communist country. Numerous nations boycotted that year's Olympics, resulting in the smallest turnout in 24 years. Wow. But in the process, Moscow forever changed how Olympic opening ceremonies were conducted. Before this, the openings were purely ceremonial in nature. But wanting to show off for the rest of the world, and maybe stick it to the boycotting nations, Moscow actually put on a big show. This included chariots, a traditional dance suite, acrobatics, and human performers shaping the Olympic rings. Following the Moscow Games, elaborate artistic achievements became a regular part of Olympic opening ceremonies. Number 17, Salt Lake City 2002. The Salt Lake City Games took place during a tense time, just months after 9/11. This was honored in the ceremony itself, as New York police officers and firefighters carried in an American flag rescued from the site. The ceremony also honored Utah culture, complete with massive puppet animals, dancing pioneers, and traditional Native American stomp dances. President Bush opened the ceremony, and acclaimed movie composer John Williams created a piece entitled Call of the Champions, which was performed live by the Utah Symphony Orchestra. The ceremony honored American history and celebrated its culture, while also proving the country's resilience in the face of horrific tragedy.
So you made it this far in the video. This part of the video basically just answered C's question about it being here and what culture would they show. So Utah.
We're gonna get on you about it.
Yeah, but Utah is definitely one of the ones who showed the culture. You know what I'm saying? So if anything else, because I don't know, I want to see more in the U.S. then. And what other cultures did they show?
Right, that's why I was saying, like, we're so diverse. We have 50 states, and those 50 states is like many countries, really, with the culture. So that's nice to see that Utah, they displayed Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
I love that the Native Americans was there.
Okay, yeah, it was this one. Okay, this is like some Greek type stuff right here.
Yeah.
Number 16, Antwerp 1920. The Antwerp Summer Games were the first to be held since the outbreak of World War I, as the 1916 Berlin Games were cancelled. As a result, the Axis countries were not allowed to compete in Antwerp. The 1920 Games honored the newfound world peace in various beautiful ways. The first Olympic oath was spoken by star Belgian athlete Victor Bouin and has since become an integral part of Olympic ceremonies. Doves were released into the sky, and perhaps most importantly, the now iconic Olympic symbol was introduced, with a flag displaying 5 intertwined rings as a symbol for world unity. This original flag is now held in Switzerland's Olympic Museum. Number 15, Sochi 2014. The 2014 Winter Olympics returned to Russia for the first time since 1980, costing a record-shattering $50 billion. The opening ceremony opened with an 11-year-old child reciting the Russian alphabet, with each letter corresponding to a famous piece of Russian culture. Following that, the ceremony's most famous event occurred, as one of the Olympic rings failed to expand. It was very memorable. The subsequent performance honored Russian history, touching on subjects like Peter the Great, the Russian and Bolshevik revolutions, and the construction of St. Basil's Cathedral. The opening ceremony concluded with a spectacular performance of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker, complete with the firing of 22 tons of fireworks. Russia certainly knows how to put on a show. Number 14, Vancouver 2010. The third Olympics held in Canada after Montreal 1976 and Calgary 1988, the Vancouver Winter Olympics opened at BC Place Stadium, making it the first indoor opening ceremony in Olympics history.
Come on, man.
Over 4,000 performers played to an audience of nearly 62,000. The ceremony opened with a welcome by the 4 host First Nations and a dance by Indigenous performers.
Come on, man.
What followed was typical Olympics extravagance, complete with a towering light-up Kermode bear, a simulated floor depicting the Arctic Sea, skiing aerialists, and Canadian celebrities like Wayne Gretzky and Nelly Furtado. It honored Canadian culture in a tasteful manner, entertaining its crowd with spectacular visuals while respecting the country's cultural and geographic diversity. Number 13, Pyeongchang 2018. The first Winter Olympics in South Korea, Pyeongchang set a Winter Games record by holding 102 events in 7 sports. The opening ceremony also contained its fair share of achievements. Delegations from North Korea were present, including Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong, and the athletes from North and South Korea all marched with the Korean unification flag. TV audiences also watched a world record 1,218 drones conducting a massive light show before forming into the Olympic rings. And of course, K-pop was front and center, complete with music from Psy and BTS. This was a history-making opening ceremony, showcasing Korean culture in a most entertaining way. Number 12, Amsterdam 1928.
Yeah, Korea did a big one with that one too.
Yes, because those drones, maybe it's our area, but we really just started seeing like a peak with the drones. Like 2 years ago or something. You know, like our big display of for New Year's, how they had all of those little shapes and things. And
right.
So that's why I'm like, hold up, they've been using the drones.
And they say they did it first.
Right, 2018.
You know, usually people that do it first is like the ones who say we the co-founders, creators. We're gonna make sure we get our flowers before anybody else do. They're the first ones to do it.
The 1928 Summer Olympics in Amsterdam introduced a few new traditions to the opening ceremony, and as such, it's been firmly ingrained in Olympics history. While it didn't contain the torch relay, these games saw the first lighting of the Olympic flame, which was given its own designated altar at the Amsterdam Olympic Stadium. It was also the first Olympic parade to begin with the Greek delegations and end with the host country. Both the flame and the parade configuration have become traditional aspects of Olympic opening ceremonies. A lot can be traced back to the 1928 Amsterdam Games, and one could certainly argue that the modern opening ceremony began here. Number 11, Rio 2016. The first Olympics to be held in South America, the Rio de Janeiro opening ceremony was produced on a significantly smaller budget than its predecessors, at just $6.5 million. But it only proved that money doesn't have to be an issue when it comes to putting on a good show. The ceremony contained gorgeous and vivid light displays, not to mention some show-stopping choreography from thousands of performers. But the ceremony stands out for its strong themes of climate change and environmental conservation. Rio used its public stage to speak out on these crucial issues, including a harrowing video in which Rio is engulfed by rising sea levels. The The show blended spectacle with thoughtfulness, and it will forever be remembered as a risky and ultimately rewarding ceremony.
Wait a minute. Okay, so I have not always watched the Olympics, like now, but I have always pieced together parts of our history as a collective planet.
Yeah.
Right? And I love how they always did use the Olympics for a world stage to get their story out there and to make important decisions. I've seen that a lot in our history. They use the Olympics to make important decisions. So for Brazil to, say, hey, look what we're going through. What we going to do about it? What we're going to do to fix it? Raising awareness.
Bro, but you got to think about the timing. This was just only aired on TV.
Yeah.
Now we have all these social media platforms where people can't miss it. Like, you can't scroll without seeing something that you didn't even know was going on at the time. You don't have to be involved into sports. You don't have to be worried about what's going on around the world. But when you're scrolling and they pop up and they catch your interest, you be like, what today's date is? What year we in? Right. Oh, the Olympics now? Right. You know what I'm saying? Type stuff. So it's like, I love the fact that we have these platforms to help, push the causes.
Because we in everybody's business now.
That's how it is.
Social media. I love it.
That's how it is.
London, 1948. After a 12-year hiatus of the Olympics due to World War II, the 1948 Games, nicknamed the Austerity Games, were an opportunity to honor the past and an attempt to unite a broken world, even if the Soviet Union did decline to participate. Instead of focusing on grand theatrics, this Olympic kickoff was relatively understated. Army bands marched in front of a crowd at Wembley Stadium, thousands of pigeons were released, and a 21-gun salute went off as the last runner in the torch relay ran around the track. Simple and effective, it honored the dire economic circumstances some countries were in after the war, while also showing that the human spirit could not be defeated. Number 9. Seoul, 1988. By the late 80s, South Korea was becoming an influential country on the world stage, and this impressive opening ceremony really reflected the country's confidence. Despite a problematic release of doves in the stadium, the grand production really impressed with a demonstration of Taekwondo, the Korean martial art that was a demonstration sport in 1988 before becoming an official Olympic sport in 2000.
Oh, wow.
And in a dazzling feat of skill and artistry, a team of skydivers, while plummeting to Earth at top speed, came together in the form of the iconic Olympic rings.
What?
This was the first time skydiving was broadcast live to a world TV audience, including the audience at the stadium. Number 8, Los Angeles, 1984. 1984 marked the first time the Summer Olympics were held in the U.S. since 1932, which were also in L.A. Before a crowd of almost 100,000, the ceremony celebrated music of America, and a big band and orchestra played hits ranging from Gershwin.
Wait, of course we're going to talk about the music. Of course. Well, not talk, but we're going to showcase the music because that's a part of our culture that I love. Although we've had some hiccups in the history of music here, that's the part of our culture that I love. And of course it's LA, so of course they're going to have music, right?
Facts.
All right. Yeah. I don't know where else we would have it. They had it in Utah. I wasn't expecting Utah, but I guess it's space. But
so LA, now we got 2.
LA, that's cool.
Right. That's and cool. I'm sitting here saying like, where would they do it? But because of the space and the amount of people, but I'm starting to see they actually put it together.
Yeah, I love, because my biggest question was, if it's here, what would we show about our culture? Music is safe.
Feel that.
And to Michael Jackson's Beat It. Visually, the event featured 1,000 volunteers marching in with balloons and a banner that said welcome in over 100 languages. A big wow moment came when a young rocketeer, Bill Suter, flew across the stadium on a jetpack. The African-American champion decathlete Rafer Johnson, the 1960 Olympic flag bearer, lit the cauldron. Number 7. Tokyo, 1964. One for the history books. The 1964 Summer Olympics were the first held on the Asian continent. This was also the first time the event was televised live worldwide. The Japanese put on a show that demonstrated Japan's desire to move on from the atrocities of World War II and usher in a more peaceful era in world politics. This was demonstrated by the lighting of the Olympic flame by Yoshinori Sakai, a man born in Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, the same day an atomic bomb was dropped on the city. It was a powerful gesture by the Japanese people, and one that captures the true essence of the Games. Number 6, Atlanta, 1996. As American as apple pie, the Atlanta opening ceremony felt like a football game on a much grander scale. Featuring marching bands, steppers, and cheerleaders, the ceremony was deeply inspired.
Atlanta?
They showed our culture with the marching. Well, I don't know which type of marching band, but if it was, you know, one of the HBCUs, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nah, this fire though. I mean, they just putting it all out of the caps with this one. I didn't know they had it in all these locations, and I've watched some of them. I've seen previews, but I ain't like sitting and like just enjoy the whole thing.
Yeah, like this year.
Atlanta though.
Atlanta.
Okay.
Let me find out T.I. came out. Wait, which year? Oh, never mind. That's before him.
Yeah.
The culture of the South. Performers and props evoked the South's history, from the Civil War to the eventual Southern Renaissance, incorporating music like jazz and gospel standards. Gladys Knight also busted out a monumental version of Georgia on My Mind, the state's official song.
Wait a minute,
but one of the most touching moments came when boxing legend Muhammad Ali, who was suffering from Parkinson's disease, lit the Olympic cauldron. Number 5, Barcelona.
I remember this one because I think it was one of his movies or a movie that his presence was in. Like, it maybe wasn't about him. I remember they was talking about the Olympics. Like I told y'all, like, because I'm a history buff, the different things that were monumental that happened in history, they would talk about the Olympics.
Right.
We're gonna have to go watch that whole ceremony.
I feel like I would miss like the openings most of the times, but I would catch the races and the competitions mainly.
Yeah.
That's the ones I'd be watching.
The ones that I remember watching as a little girl, like the races, was the swim races.
Swim races was a big one.
Because I'm like, how they under the water for that long?
Hey, they put in work to be there though.
Yeah.
The number to be there.
Let us know if we the only ones. Well, we know our people around the country are always watching the Olympics, like from top to ending, opening to closing. But this is our first year that like really paying attention. So.
It'd be like that.
And I'm going to ask the question at the end.
It'd be like that.
1992. Barcelona made sure that their opening ceremony was a celebration of life. With giant, colorful puppets manned by puppeteers dancing throughout the stadium, it was hard not to get caught up in the spirit of the event. Andrew Lloyd Webber contributed the game's theme song, Amigos para Siempre, Friends for Life, which was sung live by Sarah Brightman and Jose Carreras. But what made this opener stand out the most was the lighting of the cauldron. To light the flame, Paralympic archer Antonio Robollo shot a flaming arrow across the stadium. The moment was unforgettable and instantly iconic. Number 4, London 2012. The Brits made the right decision when they picked filmmaker Danny Boyle to direct the show. Boyle and his creative team created a presentation that infused the theme Isles of Wonder into every minute. The show's strength was its ability to mix pop culture with a telling of the nation's history, from its humble beginnings to becoming a world leader. With appearances from pop culture faves including Mary Poppins, Mr. Bean, James Bond, Harry Potter, and many more, there was something for everyone. And the music! Featured songs including London Calling, My Generation, and Bohemian Rhapsody gave the show a palpable energy that encapsulated the spirit of Great Britain. Number 3, Sydney 2000. Full of energy from the get-go, they started with a horse show paying tribute to the Australian stock horse. 120 riders performed a beautifully choreographed step routine that included forming the 5 Olympic rings. They told the world good day and proceeded to wow with sections of the show that included a tribute to the Great Barrier Reef, Aboriginal culture, and even a nature segment depicting the stages of bushfire destroying and replenishing life. There was one small snafu, as the ascension of a giant ring of fire to the top of the stadium stalled for 4 long minutes, but even a little mistake couldn't take away from the spectacular show. Number 2, Athens 2004. As the birthplace of the first Olympics, Athens has a lot of history to celebrate. The past and present were tied together on screen, with drummers playing in both the ancient Olympia Stadium and the new Athens Olympic Stadium. A rocket, simulated to have been launched from the older stadium, landed in the pool of the newer stadium and lit flaming Olympic rings, symbolizing the past, giving life to the modern era. The show was split into 2 segments, Allegory and Hourglass. The first more conceptual, the second about Greek history. The Athens opening ceremony was a feat in technology, with praise given to the lighting, floating sculptures, and the innovation used to drain the pool in a mere 2 minutes. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Beijing 2008. Featuring a whopping 15,000 performers, the Beijing opening ceremony was a triumphant feat of planning and execution. Directed by Zhang Yimou, a Chinese filmmaker known for movies like Raise the Red Lantern, the artistic section of the ceremony was divided into 2 parts: Brilliant Civilization and Glorious Era. They told the story of China's rich history, as well as depicting a vision for peace and harmony worldwide. Beginning with the beating of bronze Fao drums, the show depicted aspects of Chinese history and culture, including scroll painting, terracotta soldiers, the Silk Road, and Chinese opera. The 4-hour ceremony cost approximately a massive $100 million US, but every penny was worth it for an opening ceremony second to none. Do you agree with our picks?
Man, hold on. We're going to stop it right there. Make sure you guys go check our channel out. I did hear a whopping billion, though, on one of them. That's crazy work. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Of course, China would be number 1.
Yeah.
We have seen what they can invent.
I mean, that's their culture, though.
Yes.
Yeah, they take the play for that one.
I already know that in our modern era, and y'all probably already know what I'm saying because of my love for it, I would love to see the Olympics somewhere in Africa. Could you imagine the culture? Could you imagine?
Talking about shut it down.
Oh, what?
Man, hey, that's vibrant. That's a good one. That's a good call out.
Listen,
you heard it first.
Imagine?
You heard it first right here. That would be pressure.
It really would be. It really would be. Now, I'm going to have to go look back at every time the Olympics was in the United States to really get a feel of what they showed and what they didn't. Because, again, like, my dad has always been into that stuff, but I wasn't.
And I was going to mention, you probably remember once you go back to watch and be like, oh, okay, I did catch this one. Yeah.
And, of course, like, when the winnings, because I know that we brought home a lot.
Facts.
We bring home a lot every year. I know that part.
Yeah.
At least I know that. Okay. But what I have been liking this time, like I said, this year is my first year really paying attention to everything, and especially since there was a big controversy of people thinking that dang it, I forgot the name of it, but they thought it was the Last Supper, and I was like, hold up.
Oh,
I learned that in school. You know, I had to study it.
We had to study that.
So this is my first year, like, really paying attention to it. So just seeing all of this, it was really a nice video for me.
Yeah.
I know I love being a student of life, and I love just learning new things and just seeing all of this. I love this video. This was nice.
It was nice. Definitely one for the history books too as well, because a lot of history is being pulled, not just from the themes of it and everything they did, but like it was mentioned, the indigenous people was in there.
Yeah,
the great people that was there to hold the flame. Like everything that they had incorporated, even the amount of money they invested. I think that's important as well. Yeah. And the cause. A lot of them were saying they was trying to end a lot of wars and bringing unity amongst the people, which I find is mad important. Very, very important. So yeah, very
Another
nice.
thing that I commend them for is that when they saw something that they really liked in another Olympic game or whatever,
right,
they made sure to keep that, like to keep the lighting of the torch, to keep some other things that they did. I love how they just kept the good things that they really liked about it. I love that. What has been most fun for me to watch this year is Snoop Dogg and Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
That's been fun.
Yeah.
Let us know how y'all enjoying the Olympics. Sorry if you're watching. All right, we hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.